Welcome back to the channel. So in this particular video, I want to discuss a trade that I want to put on Masterworks, a short trade as a matter of fact. And I'm going to point out a few quick things and also put the trade on right away and kind of explain it to you guys. So for starters, I've talked about this before. If we look at the CFTC report, Committee of Traders report, this one is specifically given to us by the Crowded Market Report. If you guys are interested in signing up, it's run by a market wizard known as Jason Shapiro. The most recent report, as we've seen over the last few months now, large speculators have continued to get long Bitcoin. This is the futures market, by the way. So this doesn't include the typical places like in Coinbase and other crypto exchanges. That data is not included here. This is strictly Bitcoin within the futures market. And the very last update saw that large speculators even got more long Bitcoin. Now, we do have all this data into a TradingView plugin, which makes it easier for us to see. And I do have it filtered specifically just to show us where the commercials sit. Now, again, commercials sit opposite of the large speculators and the small speculators. If you look at this portion right here, you could see kind of the buildup of the large speculators, how they've been building up a larger and larger position over the last few months. And on the flip side, we have the commercials, which would be the exact opposite side, sitting maximum long, maximum short, which normally is what we want to trade in the direction of. And if you look at this chart here, whenever Bitcoin has the commercials at maximum short, and this is an indexed value, so this might be like the last 6 months. So based on the last 6 months, how short or long are they? Anytime they're kind of sitting at this maximum level, Bitcoin does not fare too well. We did actually see, actually the last time we did see that there was a little bit of a push up in this last rally from the bottom of the whole Iran drama. We saw a little bit of a push up here. Now, granted, if you take a closer look here, you can see how small speculators were actually short. Now, let me just toggle this out for you guys. Most of you might be the first time looking at this. Normally we do want to trade opposite of that of the large and the small speculators. So you can actually see that the small speculators actually were not that crazy long until right here, which is right at the peak. As you can see, that's when they got the most long, and you can kind of see their bars over here. But normally speaking, again, I got rid of the other lines just to show you guys the commercials a little earlier. But normally speaking, when everything is aligned, you do not want to be long Bitcoin when the commercials are typically fully short, So right here, Bitcoin really went nowhere. Right here, Bitcoin went a little lower. Right through this region here, like same thing. As you could see, Bitcoin just did not have a good time. Here, Bitcoin did not have a good time. Here, what happened here? So the report comes out somewhere during this. Again, not a great time. Now, we only have the data here for the last 5 or 6 years, but the point I'm trying to drive here is that in most cases than not, it's not a great spot to be long when we have commercials fully short here. Now, with that in mind, we've got to pick an asset that has not been doing that great during this run, which is Masterworks. As everybody's been aware of by now, we're trading at 106 as we speak right now. And I think a big issue here, while obviously they keep diluting to buy Bitcoin and raise their reserves, but also for their stretch product here, was problematic in the sense that it's not trading near 100. And we even had the CEO of Strategy come out yesterday and say that he's putting $1 million of his own money into Stretch, and that he'll hold it until par, whatever it might be. The point being, that's a little too pointed, the fact that the CEO himself has to come out and try to build credibility into the product. And I get it, many of you might be viewing this video and you are probably long Masterworks. I have nothing against Masterworks, nor do I have anything against Bitcoin. I've been long Masterworks at some points in the last few months. I'm sure with some of my videos you could probably find that. Nothing against any of that. What I am seeing though is the fact that things look bearish for Bitcoin. People are still trying to buy the dip. And I'm looking at the best way to represent that bet, and representing it in a stock that is clearly struggling. There's no way to look at strategy and think that it's doing well. I mean, we're pretty much hitting new almost gonna be like 52-week lows, right? We're coming there, right? I mean, obviously a lot of people think this $100 level is gonna hold, but with stretch sitting not even below 100, below 90, today it's down today also. Granted, Bitcoin is obviously down today also. Let me see what Bitcoin is doing on the right hand side. Yeah, it's down 3% today. Masterworks is actually down less than that. So, you know, people are trying to buy the dip. But either way, I want to make a play for what if things really start cascading lower. Okay, this is not a normal bearish bet that I'm making in Masterworks where I simply believe, oh, things will just trade lower. I'm making a bet of, okay, what if that left tail risk exists and something really begins to break? How can we profit off that while minimizing the risk on the table? That's what that's pretty much what I'm trying to go for, because there might be the recipe here because we clearly see Masterworks struggling, we clearly see Bitcoin struggling, and data shows us that people are still very much long Bitcoin, at least in the futures market. So what I thought about doing, and I'm first going to display this on Thinkorswim because I do feel like their risk profile tool is pretty great in depicting this. So broken wing butterfly. We are selling the 110 puts, which are in the money. This is currently the spot price of Masterworks. We're buying double the quantity, right, at 102 puts, right? This is out of the money. And then we're selling the $80 puts. All the options on the buy and sell side, they all match up. So we're not naked any options on the long or the short side. There is a finite risk to this trade. If my thesis is wrong, and let's say Bitcoin stabilizes, let's say stretch manages to go back to 100, let's say Masterworks begins to bounce, okay, you know, I'm willing to risk, as you could see, even if I do not manage this trade, I'm willing to risk $1,700 on this trade. Granted, by the time I get filled, the spread, this and that, maybe it's closer to $2,000. It's never gonna be perfectly accurate, right? Now, if the thesis proves out to be true and there is systematic issues with Masterworks and things really begin to cascade lower, we could see that in the best case scenario, if prices really come down and I hold till the very end, yada, yada, you know, if you look at the bottom left here, can make as much as $20,000. Very unlikely, probably the trade will be managed way before that. The purple line represents what would happen if the price had moved today. So if the price would drop to $80 today, I would be up $10,000 in that position. Keep in mind, it does not consider the fact that volatility would change. It would change, right? And well, volatility likely would help us at some points and hurt us at other points. At this point in time, you can see we're actually holding negative vega in that position. So it would not be helping us, but I'm sure that at some point in the curve, like right here, higher volatility is helping our position out. So that, whatever, the point being, the P&L is not going to be perfectly depicted as it's showing right now, but that's how much we can possibly make, right? And then we have, this is where we lose money, right? That $100 mark, this pivot point, right? This expires in about 3 weeks from now. It's a very short-term play. If the asset sits at a $100 mark, I will lose, what is it, $12,000. That is a lot. Now that's only if I do not manage the trade. Obviously I want to manage the trade. Obviously if I see Masterworks hitting 100, getting sticky at 100, Bitcoin's going lower, Masterworks is still sitting at 100, I'm gonna get out of this trade. Now obviously when I'm sitting right here, this will be a negative. We obviously have a lot of theta that's gonna be burning out of our position. That will be hurting us as we move the date forward. As you see me here, toggling the date forward, slowly, 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 and slowly. This purple line moves lower and lower. Our losses begin to come up, right? So let's say July 10th, if we're sitting at exactly 102, you can see that my P&L in the position is going to be $2,500 loss, okay? That's when I got to make a decision. Okay, am I going to cut this trade or not? Because obviously if I hold this position till expiration, which in that case would be how many? Probably in about 5 more trading days, I'll have 4 times that loss because theta would burn the hell out of that positions. As you see, the theta had continued to grow as the days pass, and my options sit pretty much at the money. At this point in time, obviously the $80 puts are probably worthless, so I'm not gaining anything from that. And these are in the money, the 110s, you know, they're not decaying as quickly. That's the game plan, right? So if I'm wrong and things shoot up, okay, here's my risk, 1600. It's probably not gonna be much to manage there because it goes up to 120, 130. I mean, at that point in time, it's probably gonna cost me more in commissions to get out of that trade. So I just scratched the trade, $1,600 loss, $1,700 loss, whatever it might be. If it sits in the middle here, and the middle is between 93 to 110, fairly wide, that is when I have to consider, okay, what are we doing here? Okay. Now I do think that either we get a situation where price hits 100 and boom, we skyrocket back up, or we hit 100, a couple days later, we break through and we get a quick flash crash lower. That's what I think is going to be happening on this particular trade. So let us put this trade through. I already have it queued up here on Interactive Brokers. So just to verify things, we are selling the 110s. Okay, we are buying the 102s, and then we are selling the $80 puts. Everything that I just showed you back there. The mid price is currently at 110. Unfortunately, it went up while I was talking to you guys. We could try to haggle them down. I'm not sure if that's gonna work, but we could maybe try for a buck. Let's try a buck straight. I'm just gonna verify some last minute details here. Okay. And we are trading at, what are we trading at? Master. Yeah. Okay, and if we actually bring up Bitcoin right now, we can see that even though the markets are actually bouncing back this morning, I mean, Bitty had a bit of a bounce back here. Masterworks is still kind of stuck at 106. And Stretch is still down on the day too. Okay, we are gonna queue this trade through right now. Again, the spread is pretty high, but we are dealing with 3 different legs here, so that's just pretty much always going to be the case. Let's try to start actually at 75, and I might have to just cut this video a little bit until I get filled into a price that I like. Okay, so we're back. It took about maybe 30 more seconds. I got filled at 95 cents for each option leg there. 95 cents. So if we kind of like lock this in here, let's say, yeah, it's actually, okay, so we just kind of like lock that in P&L wise. Masterworks that have a little bit of a balance there, but that's pretty much it. And so again, if things just rack it up, which this is the more like, let me be clear here, the more likely scenario is that Masterworks is going to find a bottom here and it's simply going to move up higher and have some sort of relief bounce. That I would put that at an 80% probability. That is what's going to happen, and that's fine. We've prepared for that, right? We've prepared for the fact that if price goes above 110, goes to 120, 130, okay, that is fine. We're trying to make a play for the fact that something might just break, especially if equities turn lower again. And you could see on the left-hand side here, you know, NASDAQ was down 3% overnight, right? So we're kind of dealing with relatively volatile times right now. So who knows what happens moving forward, right? So, you know, we look at SPX here. You know, fairly big gap down. We're trying to maybe fill it at the moment. So things might break. So we'll have to we'll have to see. If you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed this content, leave me a like, comment. If you have any questions for me, other than that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will try to keep you updated on this trade. Thank you.